Hey, what's up? This is Steve Cardenas, aka Rocky the Red Power Ranger, and Jeff Barrazzo, Trent Fernandez Mercer from Battle Thunder, and you are watching Team Venom Media.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of Team Venom's Power Ranger podcast. I'm your co-host, Rory Bailey, joined by my co-host, Paul Baker, and a very special guest in the legendary composer of virtually everyone's favorite childhood themes, Ron Wasserman. Ron, how's it going?
Good. How are you all doing?
I'm good, man.
Still breathing.
Yes, same. Still trying. And, getting used to it, getting dark early and cold weather and all the things that I despise more than most things.
Yeah,
I'll take the cold weather, but not the losing daylight. That sucks.
Yeah,
I think
it's
the
ridiculous.
last time we got you on here, it was summer, because I had all the patches and all the sunshine just glaring in as we were doing the chats and stuff, and now it's jet black, same time. So it's like no change in daytime or anything like that. Just awful time of year.
Yeah, the universe is not a perfect design. A perfect design would have been that we get 12 hours of sunlight and nice warmth all year.
Yeah.
So maybe next time.
Indeed.
Yeah, but I like hoodie weather, so I'll take the cold.
Oh, it's good. That's weird. I don't understand it, but good for you.
Just they say it's dark and miserable and cold and such outside. Have you got any wonderful Christmas plans that you want to talk to us about?
This has been a year. This has been such a strange year with the writers' strike that finally ended, and the actors' strike that finally ended, and things are just kind of slow right now. My son is finishing up all of his finals in college, so I'm hoping to do something with him beginning of January. Christmas, I think I'm just going to be hanging, maybe a couple of road trips, just get out of here for a couple days.
Nice.
Yeah, because you didn't have a long enough vacation during the strike, so you're really gonna pack it on there with the holidays and now road trips. Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah, let's just take the whole year off and screw it.
Oh shit, I'd be all over that. You got anything lined up as far as projects or?
Well, there's still that video game, The Next World, that is supposedly coming out next year. And be honest with you, the other stuff that was going to happen prior to the strike, it seems to have disappeared. So I did a lot of reality TV this year. So I did have work, but I don't think I can do anymore. Excuse me, getting over that cold. I don't think I could do any more of that stuff. But they would send me clips and I would watch it for 30, 40 seconds and say, yeah, I understand. So it's arguing, drama, people screaming, white trash, cars being broken, people breaking their own stuff, screaming and yelling in front of the cameras. Okay, I know what to do.
Yeah, it's funny how reality shows seem to have more drama and more of any of that than daytime soap operas, which are they still around? I don't even know.
I don't know. I think there might be one or two around. Just somebody must watch them.
I think the young and the restless
that,
tend to the old and the useless.
Yeah, that's a good name. But yeah, we should watch one and see what kind of commercials they run on it, because that's where you always know where the demographic is. I'm sure it's all prescription pills and accident lawyers.
Electric blankets and that sort of things.
Yeah, exactly. Electric blankets, walkers.
Yeah. Well, I know obviously it's the Power Rangers podcast and whatnot, but have you? I'm going to not talk about Power Rangers to you. Yeah.
No, it's okay.
With Disney doing the X-Men '97 reboot, I'm sure you were mentioning before that they were going to use your theme, but they hadn't contacted you or something. Was that right?
Well, remember, Saban owns all the rights to all that
Yeah,
stuff, like all production companies do. Even if I owned it, I didn't. You never own it.
yeah.
So,
Well,
but from what I heard, they're using the original theme.
fair enough. I just
That's
thought
all I
I'd
know.
check if they've actually got in touch with you and if anything had changed on that side of things over the last 6 months.
Marvel never even got back to me to say you're not doing any of the music. Leave us alone. There was no response from them at all. I heard they may have hired the guys that did Stranger Things to do it. I think. I'm not sure though. I'm probably away for somebody to verify it.
Fair enough. Oh, Paul, you look confused.
I'm trying to like. I mean, he was mentioning Marvel. Now I'm curious with the music aspect. Now is the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Marvel per se the same thing, or they own divisions, or
Did
I'm
you?
sure they each have a separate room full of 50 people, of which 48 are trying to work their way up the ladder and all have their opinions. So who's ever scoring it, I'm sure they're having to deal with a lot of cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah. Well,
I would
well,
assume.
well, both the Miss Marvel series that they did and the Doctor Strange ones used the Doctor Strange sequel, Multiverse of Madness, both use riffs from that X-Men
Yeah.
theme you wrote, which I know you said Saban owned the rights to that and stuff. Was there any
Yeah.
credit or
Yeah.
anything like that for you on those projects? Do you know? Or
No, that would go to Saban.
fair enough.
That's how it was then. It's the same as I've used in examples before. When Hans Zimmer scores a film, he's got like 7, 8, 10 guys. I don't know if they're still at his studio, but um they're doing a lot of the work as well. And then but Hans gets the credit for it. And that's just those are guys up and coming in the business. And that's just how it worked at Saban as well. So it's perfectly fine. It would have been nice, but you know,
even just having your name on the credit, be like, all right, yeah, that was me. Nope, not getting that.
yeah, 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 exactly. I don't even think about it on those shows. I think I'm listed as recording engineer or something on all that Power Rangers stuff. They said, yeah, we'll put your name up. I'm like, great, janitor.
But yeah, you got the most iconic music under your belt. But yeah, you're not gonna get credit for it. Give it to Saban. What the hell?
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wasserman. But that's okay. That's one of the reasons I left. And, ever since then, I've always gotten credit. So,
No, they didn't give you any shit when you did the Redux stuff for iTunes and stuff like that, did they?
no, because you are allowed to cover anything that has ever been released on an audio only product. So, all those songs have been released. And even though I am listed as the writer on some of them, I'm allowed to cover it because I'm not restricted from a record deal. That's why certain artists like the Stones couldn't go back and cut their own stuff. That's in their contracts. We never had a contract for a record deal with Saban. So I could go back and recut them like anybody can.
Oh, nice.
All right. I was wondering how that worked.
Yeah, well, I learned a lot about the business and the loopholes and what to watch for throughout the years. So, yeah, they can't really stop you from doing that any more than they could stop anybody from doing another cover of it and posting it anywhere. Just as long as you file the paperwork, which is, like literally takes 2 minutes if.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
because
been
you go on Facebook and you see those reels, like people showing their collections or whatnot, and they got this one. I don't know if you guys heard it or not, but he's singing the like season 2, the one song. I can't think of the name of it right now, and I've heard cats screwing with more harmony than this dude has. Oh my god, it was horrible.
Oh,
and
no.
he was able to he's able to get away with that.
That's what I was going to go with. Yeah, that was what I was
Yeah,
going to
it's got nothing to do with quality. Sometimes anybody could do it. I mean, they could just hum it, and I mean, they're allowed to do it. And yeah, there are a couple versions I've seen where, sometimes the track is good, but the vocals just aren't quite there. Actually, a majority of them, but then there's some that are just spectacular.
Well, there's
It's like anything.
Well, there's a few that I've seen. There's one that's Power Glove that do all classic themes tunes done in a like a death metal sort of style, and they've done your Power Rangers and X-Men one on their major releases and stuff. Have you caught those at all? Or
It sounds real familiar. I'm sure I have, but literally after the first 400 or 500, it comes kind of a blur because people do send stuff all the time. I mean, all the time. So you filter through it all, but some of it's exceptional. My favorite is still, I think there was a quartet that did the X-Men theme. I remember seeing that. And then the bagpipes doing either X-Men or Power Rangers, which was just, so unique and brilliant. And a bagpipe, I mean, not easy.
You know what that just brought to mind? There's I don't know if you'll call her an influencer, but she's on Instagram, Facebook, all that. Piper Alley. She's actually done a couple of your songs on the bagpipes.
Yeah, I think that's what I saw. Fantastic. It's
That's
amazing.
a cheap plug for you, Piper. Just return the favor when you're ready. Okay.
Yeah.
I actually, speaking of that, I know it's going off going off on a tangent a bit. I saw there was a thing recently where she'd covered a Metallica song, and the first person that commented on it was James Hetfield, saying how great it was and all this sort of stuff. And then the person underneath it hadn't realised that it was James Hetfield from Metallica, and was arguing with him, saying, "Oh no, this is travesty. Metallica wouldn't like this. They wouldn't stand for this." Like, it's literally their singer saying it's great. Yeah, people find an excuse.
It's a good example of
anything.
It's a good example of showing how when people want to be negative, they just don't think they're like not negative.
Yeah, we get it a lot. Not online,
Yeah, I know. Everybody does.
Yeah.
That brings up an interesting question. Have you done any collabs with, I don't want to say like super mainstream people like Metallica or anything like that, but if we're bringing up Metallica, why not? Have you had any collaborations with any kind of groups like that?
No, actually not. Metallica would blow my mind to write with them anything, but I think they do everything in-house. The only real collaborations I've done on songs were with my ex-wife with the band Fisher, and then stuff with Paul Van Dyke, a lot of EDM stuff, which I never thought would happen, but they would ask or send a basic track and say, "You want to write something over this?" And I would write the melody, and then Kathy would either do some of the lyrics or all of the lyrics, or I do the lyrics, and then she'd do the vocals. You drop it off, and then they dump it out to like 10 DJs to do remixes of stuff. So it's fun and it's interesting, but at a certain point too, this is about 15 years ago, you start getting in a track a week, and every single one is like boom, 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 and sometimes I'd write back and said, a chord change, or where's the chorus, or when does anything change? Not to be rude, but that's a great drum loop and a bass line, but it's not terribly inspiring. Or sometimes I would just take their beginning and say that I rewrote it from here to here to here to here. Because they just get into these long, yeah.
Well,
and then they'd remix it, and it would be the same thing over and over again. Yeah, some of them were great. Some of them were truly great.
There was a thing I saw on Spotify, and it was Piano Geek and yourself listed as the featured artist doing the piano version of the Power Rangers theme. Was that actually you playing that, or did they do that and just list you as the featured thing for that?
I think they might have listed me. Was there video, or was it just an audio thing?
No, it's a thing from Spotify. I was just In fact,
Oh, let's hear it.
I don't know if I can get it
If
to
you can,
play
can
through it.
you
I'll
do
see if I
that?
can. Yeah, let me bring Spotify up and
I figure you're
accidentally
the
plug them
Zoom
in the
expert.
middle of the podcast. So,
Yeah.
there should be a means for me to share screen, so I'll quickly do that. There we
It
go.
is pretty cool to see people's different renditions of stuff.
Oh, it is. And it's great to hear their take, and it's wonderful when they get. All
Yeah.
right, you're gonna find it.
Yeah. I've got it here. So there's Piano Geek. But it's from earlier this year, so I'll randomly put it on, and then if
It's very quiet.
I'll just turn the volume up and see if that helps.
Nothing on my end.
Nothing here. Oh well.
Does that come up
Guess
any
I'm gonna
louder?
have to listen after. Nope, I got nothing.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I'll stop it then.
Yeah, no worries.
Fair enough. Although I'm just gonna have to
They
take the volume
probably
down because
just.
now I've like killed my own ears. So, right. Yeah, so it's Piano Geek on Spotify. There's a few themes they've done.
Yeah, I think they just put on the. They just credited me because everybody knows I actually wrote it. That's got to be the only reason.
Yeah.
But I'll check it out on my own and see. But I
Fair
don't.
enough.
At least they're nice enough to give you credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if
For
you look
sure.
if you search for yourself on Spotify, that's one of the things that comes up as one of
Okay, I'll check that out after this.
Fair enough. So Piano Geek, if you're watching, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Man, we're giving all kinds of plugs out today. What the hell, man?
But
Guys are doing some
make a
great
custom
ads.
theme for us.
Yeah. So I'm thinking next year, once production kicks back in, there should be some stuff coming up, although I'm not sure exactly what it is. I've kind of enjoyed the downtime and doing the reality stuff was okay, but I think next year I'll start digging around and try and find some sort of series to get connected to, which would be fun. It's time for another one. It's been a long enough break.
Yeah,
I noticed on the downtime, you've been doing a lot of interviews. Like I see on the groups, you've been hooking everybody up with good interviews. Not as good as us, but you know.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll give them a little bit of kudos.
The fifth time, isn't it, that you've been on here with us? I think is it the fifth? I know, Paul, you were keeping track of who'd been on the most, didn't you?
Well, I strive to be number one, so hopefully I've done the most now.
I think you are one ahead of Mark.
Yes.
Good. Tell Mark tough. Too bad, Mark.
I think now we're just gonna have to make it to where you both are on the same show, and come on, let's go at it.
Yeah, let's have a fight. I have my brass knuckles somewhere here. I have no idea. So yeah, next year things should start picking up, and the interviews were done because the X-Men's 97 stuff was kind of getting some press, and a press agency contacted me and said, "Hey, you want to do a bunch of stuff?" I said, "Okay." And then so it was just, I said, I want to kind of get out there into the industry's head again. And just as that started, then the strike hit. So I thought, there I go with, occasionally I have very bad timing. For example, if I buy a stock, the company really is in trouble.
So that begs the question: what affected you more, the writer strike or the other strike? I can't think of the name right now. Brain fart.
Well, it was all kind of under one umbrella, but the writer's strike is what definitely killed it because, for example, the couple of the projects that I was going to do, they were just getting underway and just starting the schedule when they were going to shoot, and everything was approved, and boom, the strike came. Same thing when COVID hit. I had two NBC pilots I was about to score. COVID hit, everything shut down. And then by the time they got back into production, those projects had been canceled because, as absurd and odd as it sounds to the executives at the networks, they thought, those are old shows now. That was like a year ago we were going to do that. It's outdated now. Let's do something new, which really screwed a lot of people. I remember talking to a few producers and saying, oh boy, the cast and the crew, they don't even know yet. We've got to call them and tell them it's been stopped.
That really sucks. I mean, if you think about it, like they keep saying, oh, it's old. They need something new. In my opinion, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would agree. A lot of the shit we see on TV is just rehashed shit from the 60s, 70s, and early 80s. There's a whole lot of original thinking out there nowadays.
Well, there probably is some, but then you get the shit kicked out of you. These people, they'll come in with a great idea and the execs go, we love that idea of the space show Star Wars. That's really good. We have a couple changes. We don't think they should go into space too soon. And this Wookiee thing, I don't know, we don't like that. And the tall little guy in the forest that has all the knowledge, let's lose him. I've been dating this gal. I think we should bring her in for the part. And then, it just goes on and on and on. Back then, execs were a little bit more liberal and they're thinking, more open to taking risks. And now they're terrified. And that's because the budgets are tighter and tighter. And back then they weren't all publicly owned companies, so many of them. So they're scared if they lose $1, they look bad. The investors pull out, they get fired, they've lost their career. So it all comes down to kind of decision by committee. And that's why things are watered down. So if they have something truly original, they seem to be terrified of it. I mean, Breaking Bad is a perfect example. They couldn't the networks all passed on that show. They wouldn't do it. They said nobody gives a shit about somebody making meth. It's the worst idea ever.
Yeah.
And
what they really want is a bunch of people on an island, some young couples on an island that we mess with and cause some fights. That's what people want. So that happens all the time.
Yeah, I see that on the USA Network every Monday after Raw. It used to be that Crisley Knows Best crap, and then they put in, what is it, Romantic Island or something along those lines you were talking about, because that's quality entertainment there, boy. Whew.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder what will happen.
Who's getting into a fight this week?
Yeah, exactly. You can always tell in those previews, will Ben be fighting with Brittany? What did Brittany say to Linda? Find out on...
That's the sound bite for the episode, Rory. There it is.
That's how we're gonna plug this. Just we'll drop that one bit.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking.
I tell you the whole story in 2 seconds. It's pretty funny. And then later, when these reality people, when they're been forgotten about a bit, all of a sudden you see, Brad from The Bachelor arrested for having inappropriate behavior with a farm animal.
Yeah.
Well, you think about it. I mean, after Survivor, then you had Big Brother. Now Big Brother's up to season 54 or some, I don't know. But it's all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Every single reality show is the same. Doesn't matter where they are.
But it's unbelievably cheap to produce, and there's no writers involved, which is why they kept ramping them up during this strike.
Well, since you both mentioned reboots and rehashes and stuff like that, I'll just bring it back to the subject of Power Rangers. There is supposedly some form of reboot happening. Has Hasbro contacted you? Because with your work on Once and Always and whatnot, have they?
No, I've not heard from them. And had they kept doing it in New Zealand, there was a chance I'd get back involved. But I don't know what's going on with Hasbro with it. I'll probably contact him around. Here's how the business always works. It's funny, even when I would just constantly work through the holidays, everything. Around September, things start slowing down because everybody's planning for the holidays. And then in October, they're kind of really winding down. November, all they could think about the holidays. December is all holidays. January, they like talking about what they did over the holidays, and they kind of get back into the mode to work. So about the third week in January is the best time to start contacting people, see what they think. But I don't know what Hasbro's plans are.
No, fair enough. Well, we'll wrap it up because it's about that sort of time for our usual episode lengths ourselves. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here again.
It's been great being here again.
And we'll obviously give you a shout if Mark comes on again, just so that you can get back to the number one spot for most appearances. But
I think
you
we do need to have
could just
both.
pop. You could just pop me in, not tell him pop me in during his interview, and I'll just sit there quietly like this.
There we go.
I'll do
Nailed
it
it.
next time.
Who is this guy? Just go, I don't know. It's up with Zoom. That'd be hysterical.
Well, yeah, thank you very much, man, and I hope you have a really good Christmas and whatnot. And
You too.
yeah, and obviously we'll catch you next time. Next time we get you on.
Good talking to you, Ron.